In this question, we'll study the effects of capitalizing or not capitalizing interest on a student loan. The difference between them is when interest is capitalized, it's not paid while you're still in school, and that has the effect of adding to your principal balance and making your payments higher once you begin payments after you're out of school. If interest is not capitalized, you're responsible for making a monthly interest payment while in school, but it leaves the principal balance where it was until you begin making payments and will result in lower monthly payments. Since in each case we're going to be computing monthly payments, of course we're going to want to have the monthly payment formula for reference. And it is P times R over 12 divided by 1 minus parentheses 1 plus R over 12 to the power minus 120. Now this is a special version of a monthly payment formula that's designed for a student loan with a term of 10 years. That's why minus 120 is here. 120 is the number of payments. Now in part A, since interest is not capitalized, the principal amount is going to stay exactly what it was, $11,500, until payments begin. And so in that case, the monthly payment is going to be principal of $11,500 times an interest rate of 0.062 divided by 12, all over 1 minus the quantity 1 plus 0.062 over 12 raised to the power of negative 120. This is one of these calculations you're going to want to be really careful with and do all at once if you can to avoid rounding error, or if you can't, make sure you use a lot of decimal places on the various stages. But at any rate, it works out to be $128.83. That's the monthly payment when payments begin if interest is not capitalized. If interest is capitalized, well, that's going to change the principal value, and what's going to happen to it is now P is going to be the $11,500 that it was originally, plus the amount of interest that accrues while Max is still in school and before payments start. And in an earlier Did You Get It question, we calculated that amount of interest to be $1,603.45. So the new principal, when interest is capitalized, is $13,103.45. So let's see what that does to our monthly payment. Everything in the calculation is the same except for the principal. So it's just kind of a lot of recopying here and redoing the calculation with a different value of P. And this time when you crunch the numbers and rounding to the nearest cent, the monthly payment works out to be $146.79. So we see it went up by about $18 a month by capitalizing the interest. Now, a question of interest for sure would be, no pun intended, an interesting question would be, how much money would be saved by not capitalizing interest? Well, what we're going to have to do is figure out the total amount that would be paid in each case. For the first loan, where interest is not capitalized, the total amount paid is going to be 120 payments of $128.83 apiece. That's the payments after graduation. And then you have to add to that the amount of interest that was paid while still in school, which was $1,603.45. And that gives us a grand total payout of $17,063.05. That's the total cost of the loan if interest is not capitalized and payments are made while in school. If interest is capitalized, there's still going to be 120 payments. Those payments are going to be $146.79. And since there were no other payments made in school, that's going to be the total amount paid out. And 120 times 146.79 is $17,614.80. So more is paid overall if interest is not capitalized, not surprisingly, because the principal is bigger. How much? Well, we would just do, put a semicolon in here, 17, 614, 50, 80, sorry, can't read my own writing, shame on me, minus 17, 6, 0, 63, 50 is $551.75. And so we find that if interest is not capitalized, if payments are made on interest while in school, overall that will save a little over $550.